everybody. Welcome to the Faith Family Fitness Podcast. I am so excited for today. Erik is here, a really close friend of mine. We met running. It's been a couple years running together, and he has an incredible story. I just look up to him and his achievements, but also as a person. It's just been really an amazing journey. So we're going to share a lot. We might cry a little bit. We might laugh. All the things, but welcome, Erik. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Out of your busy schedule, being here, it means a lot. So
I would say the same thing about you. I mean, you've been a great friend, great mentor, amazing business, and just running friend and partner and awesome. Life motivator. So thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah? Yeah. So true.
We have a lot of heart-to-hearts on our runs. Even yesterday, we were just chatting and talking about life and all of it. So I want everyone to kind of know about you. Like, share your running journey. Like, where did you start? When did you start running? And, like, the journey that's gotten you to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. So I started running long time ago. I'm almost 30 now. So it's weird how life just comes by so quickly. But, started running in elementary school, typical kid, just doing track and field in 4th grade and figured out I like to always be active. My mom always told me that she's like, you got to do a sport. You got to do a winter sport or a fall sport or a spring sport, usually all three, because grew up in New Hampshire, snowy all the time. So.
That's where we connect too, New England people,
Yeah, you got it.
Is New Hampshire considered New England?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm like...
Rhode Island.
I'm like in the Rhode Island bubble, like 2 people live there, but...
Yep. So that's the thing is like, I mean, it's so cool. I'm sure we'll talk about this, like fitness for kids, and especially when it's so cold, like in a state like New England, it feels like a different country. Just totally being active. So that's sort of how I started and ran in middle school and high school, and then high school started running cross country, like 2010.
Okay.
And just found a really great community, really great connection with people and spirituality and all those things we'll talk about today, but just really paired well with that. And so high school, college, and now post-collegiately too.
Yeah. Amazing. Mm-hmm. So have you always felt like, so I love following your journey of your goals. I mean, what has been like, people want to know, how fast are you, Erik?
Yes. It's like,
let's just get down to the like, what do you...
Not as fast as you comparatively.
Not really. Like, no, I'm like, oh. But,
well, it's cool to talk about journey, right? And like no one, I'm sure, and you don't like to flaunt your journey and like how well you've done.
It's
and
finding that balance, but I want you to share.
Sure.
Yeah, but you're not, I know you feel like, oh, I'm bragging and blah, 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 but people follow you because they're like, wow, I want to aspire to be like that.
Yeah.
And that's why you're coaching, because like people want to, hey, I want some of that.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's what we've aligned so well too. Like, hitting motivation off of each other and like, oh, what are you experiencing? What are you doing right now? Why are you still running at the age that you are?
Exactly.
And so what's gotten you to that place? But I mean, for me, like I said, I think like running as a kid and then running in high school and college. And after that, I feel like it's just been icing on top of the cake to places where I never thought I'd been able to go. Mm-hmm. So like pushing your mind and pushing your body, pushing your spirituality to get to those places, and you keep reaping the benefits from running. And that's why we stick with it, right?
Love it. Yeah.
So, and just to get it out there and just not talk about it again today is like, I mean, for me, running, my debut marathon was a 2:45. So my first.
Incredible.
And half marathon was 1:15.
Oh, wow.
Right after college. And I wasn't like a good runner until the end of college.
Okay.
I almost didn't make my cross country team in college. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. I almost didn't make my high school team. And from there I was a captain in high school and then a captain in college.
So you earned your way. It
was
the work. It was
that
definitely. Fire. No.
Yeah.
But that's why we talk about this. The failures make us who we are today.
Sure.
And I think that's why we've talked about why we love the marathon, because it's so hard. It's probably the hardest things I've ever done, training for it and going through that emotions of having an amazing race, but also having a really terrible race.
Sure.
And the hurt and you feel like a failure, blah, blah, blah. But like those emotions like fire us to like try to keep pushing and getting better. So like that like was it high school you said? Mm-hmm. Now almost not making it. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like that helped you get through what you're going through today.
Exactly. And I like to think, every marathon you learn something about yourself, and the marathon teaches us more than anything. And one of my favorite quotes from running is, "It's the marathon will teach you everything you've ever wanted to know about yourself," or everything you've ever wanted to know about yourself, you can learn in 26.2 miles.
It's so true.
So,
and it's not always what I want to learn about myself.
Yeah.
It's right. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's heartbreaking, but it's also, that is so good.
Yeah. It's like everything's on the line when you come down to that start line, and you're so vulnerable, and you can experience all those emotions from hot and cold, and
it's crazy.
The top and then the lowest of the low.
Has there ever been a marathon where you felt like it slip away from you, or like how would you help like a listener? Like, I know a lot of people have anxiety starting as I talked to Rob today, he's like, I don't race as well as I want. I get nervous.
Sure.
Like, and then when you feel it slipping out of your hands, how do we like not quit but keep going?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I would love to have a conversation about this because and here we are sitting here, have so much to talk about.
I know,
it just all comes out.
It does.
But
I love how it's real.
The fun part is I think every runner has a superpower, just like every person in a career has a superpower. Like I'm in sales, my sales team, everyone on my team has a different superpower, and we all have to learn from each other, which is what we do as a running team and a running group, and our community is learn from each other. So mine is I don't get nervous for races.
Okay.
That's like my thing. And
that is a superpower.
That's a superpower because most people do. Like
Yeah.
JC and I were talking, and she's like, "How do you not get nervous?"
Her,
She's such a great person.
Yeah.
And for me, I see the strength and heart from her, and for you, I see the emotion, and you wear your emotion on your sleeve, which is a cool thing.
But also not a great thing.
It's double-edged sword.
Yes. Yeah.
But for me, and I don't mean to sound weird by I don't have nervous for running, but it's because if you retrain your brain you're focused on I've done more than I ever thought I could do in my life with running, and the rest is just butter, icing on top of the cake. Did you ever think you'd be as fast as you are? No. So
that's cool.
And maybe you're nervous every race, right? Still a little bit.
It gets better. Yeah. I think my struggle is, I want that PR really bad, but I'm also I know how hard it is to get there, and so I just don't want to fail.
But you're nervous because you care.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, and again, we can talk all day about running, but quotes that you see on Instagram, things that you hear from your friends, people that you've seen in real life, those things you've learned from with running, you put it all together and it just sticks there. Mm-hmm. And that's where I like to pull that and throw it into a room in a conversation and bring it up again where it's I'm not feeling good this season or this month, but what's my why? And why am I still here doing this? And just remember that.
That's good. What is your why? Why am I doing
in mile 24, why are you here? To learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not going to learn more about yourself in a 10-mile run than you are in a marathon.
No.
So, what's question for you, because we talk about this all the time, but what's your favorite part of the journey? What keeps you going? Because you're working so hard doing this job and doing the podcast and helping your clients and helping your friends and running with your team and teaching and all your and family. You have so much stuff going on.
There's a lot of the hats and all of that.
What are some of your whys that keep you going?
It's mine. It's mine.
Yeah.
It's not anyone else's. It's my one thing that I feel this is Amanda.
Sure.
And I feel and that's why I could cry because the marathon has brought me to so many places and I've loved them, but I've also been ew, I don't like myself at this moment. Mm-hmm. So it's but it's still there. And I do love working hard. I love that feeling. Today we ran 22 miles and I'm exhausted, but my body ran 22 miles today. Mm-hmm. It's a gift.
And you're still working all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something powerful of that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk.
Working hard.
Yeah. That's amazing and so inspirational too, where you have all these things going on, but it's still your thing.
Yes. Sorry, I'm butting in.
No.
And that's where I struggled too, not allowing it to be my whole identity. Because I think when I didn't get my first sub-3, it was literally devastating. And someone was like, Amanda, it's just running. And I'm like, you are right. This isn't my identity, but it is me. When people look at me, they're like, she likes to run. I do. I want to run when I'm 85. Mm-hmm. So,
but it's
just finding, it's one part. It's not all of Amanda.
Yeah. And
we're getting deep.
Well, it's which is
deep.
why this
is
faith, family, fitness, friends, fun. There's so many different parts of life, and that's so cool. for you to take that, and I would just challenge you and like every listener and every runner and everyone that we coach, like, right, is, okay, it's just a race. It's just running. And like, yeah, you should mourn a poor performance for a day, but then
for a day, but doesn't define you for months from,
Yeah, and if you have a bad marathon, you can still get yourself together and run a really good marathon in 3 months. You can. It doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can. So I
that
think
is so.
really
it's just
cool.
putting it in perspective. Everything in perspective. It's good.
Yeah. Can I say one more powerful thing? I feel like, so I think about my why, and I've like posted this all over Instagram, and I like put this out a lot, and I'm really deliberate about what I put out there, because I only put out positive things onto like social media, and like you put out positive things. Yeah, you got to be real with like struggling, and I do that too, but I think it's, where can I maybe help or inspire 1+ person a day, whether it's in like a social media thing, like putting something out there, or just having a conversation with a friend on the phone or an athlete on the phone, right? And I think for me, it's every moment of the journey is special and important in its own way. And like, I haven't ran a PR in the marathon in 4 years. Like, I just haven't done it.
Wow.
And
I think it's same too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Close to there.
And I've been 6 seconds away, which is nothing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 6 seconds is like a lean. It's like, come on, dude. So, and we talk about one of our friends who's like 17 seconds away from breaking 3 and like hitting her goal, and she's gonna do it, but she's still out there working hard every day.
It's so amazing. She's gonna crush it.
Yeah.
We all see it.
Yeah.
It's there. I'm like, dude, we got this.
Yeah, so I would just challenge you and everyone to like, I don't know, I'm not saying my mentality is correct, but this is what I think, and I sort of don't know where this came from in my brain, but it was like, this is my quote, like, the marathon is made of tiny moments, like long seconds and tiny moments, and all those long seconds and tiny moments make all the difference between glory and devastation.
Wow.
And so when you toe the line, it's you, and you're the most vulnerable you've ever been.
Totally.
And it's just you in the roads, and there's your shot.
There it is.
And whether it's a DNF, like a do not finish at mile 2, or a gritty 6-second difference between a PR and not, like, your brain goes, oh, I did it or I didn't. Like, it's black and white. But it's not, because like, that's the stuff that gets you to the next season and the next 10 years and the next 10 years. So I just like to share that.
That is really, it's like those little moments. And we talk about that even in the gym or even in our lives, those little moments that make us who we are today, that keep us going, keep us fighting for that PR.
Yeah.
That is so good.
What's your favorite 1 or 2 memories that you've had in your like later in life running career where you've done really well, but maybe it wasn't like a personal record race because maybe you haven't hit it in the last 4 years? But what are those couple of moments maybe you could share?
I'll give you my high and my low.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
So my learning, let's try to explain this. So my first attempt at a sub-3, I kind of went in really confident. And I think that's where I learned, wow, the marathon, you respect this marathon.
Sure.
This distance.
It's humbling, yeah.
Yeah, and like, beautiful training cycle. Everything was perfect. The day just was not great. I can't explain it. Just was not my day. And I left that devastated. It really wrecked me. I took myself off Strava. I kind of took a break from the group. I just needed a moment.
Was it Indy?
It was CIM.
Oh, okay. Indy
was... just the weather was crazy. Like, that was like the CIM, the weather was fine. It was rolling hills. I don't know. It was just not. It was your first attempt at a sub-3. Like, people, it is crazy. It's hard. Yeah. You can get all the right workouts, but when you try a sub-3,
it's got to line up perfectly.
It really does. At my level of fitness, where I'm at. So that was. But then I told Coach Derek at that time. He was like. I told him I want to try for I don't even know what, just 6 weeks after was Mesa. I'm like, I'm going for it. My fitness is there. He's like, okay, let's do it. And he got me, and that was like my 2:58, and that was incredible. But my best, I feel like, the best I felt in a marathon, if we're talking marathon, was my PR. Like, my fastest mile was my last mile.
That's awesome.
Like, you don't really ever can say that.
No,
so I don't know if I'll ever. It was awesome. Like. I remember Derek at the last mile or 2, and he's like, yeah, and he looked like really surprised. I don't know, like, he was like, wow, she looks good for mile 24 or whatever, and I just was like, I don't know why I feel so good the whole time.
That's awesome.
It was amazing, and I'm like, this is why, and that was so I keep trying for that time.
Yeah.
But it is, I learned, it's great.
Yeah.
How about you? Highs, lows?
Well, as you were saying that, I was just thinking like, oh, what's my high? Like, because I've had so many lows, but I've had way more highs, right?
Okay.
My low was like the way that I felt my first Boston, but that was a month after getting hit by a car, and the fact that I made it to the start line was a miracle.
That's in a month.
Yeah.
In a month? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, a month after.
Yes.
But, so like, that's my low because I felt so traumatized and empty and just destroyed.
Oh, wow.
And the marathon just takes it from you more than anything else can. So that was my low, but also kind of a high in its own respect. But I think my high was like going back to Boston this year. You know, it was 3 years later, my third Boston. I've only ran one Abbott major. I've only ran 3 different marathons, right?
Okay.
Like Mesa 3 times, CIM once, and Boston 3 times. But having to enjoy Boston this April, like I just wanted to crush it and do well, like to have fun. And my goal was like a 2:55 was my A goal, and I ran a 2:54. So
that's crazy.
I crushed my goal, but I was 11 minutes slower than my best time.
But it was amazing.
But I got to enjoy it. And I crushed
cool.
Heartbreak Hill and see my brother there and like high five him.
Oh.
Like there's a video of me running around the course like 300 meters more to high five my brother so I didn't miss him.
That's
like
cool.
on the turn to up Heartbreak. That's more meaningful to me and like running a negative split in the marathon.
That's cool.
And more meaningful to me than running a 2:43 PR. Like I just and that's where I'm at right now.
So like, doesn't that speak to those of you that are like even dabbling with a marathon?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like so many people, well, that's for you. No, I think you find so much more of yourself in these moments and doing something that's hard like this. It's just incredible. And then changing the perspective, it's not always about a PR.
Yeah.
It's about being in that moment and embracing like the community we're a part of. We wouldn't be friends if we weren't running.
Right.
We wouldn't have a meaningful friendship if we weren't, hey, see you at 5 a.m. But like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Well, let's talk about that gift of community and faith and what we found together. Because I think like you can be whatever you are on the roads and whatever you are off the roads, like sales professional and like teacher and, you know, small business owner, whatever it is. And like or maybe some of our moms who don't work and some of our dads who don't work, like
so many hats.
People going through divorces, people going through tough things in life and different seasons. There's different seasons of running and then there's different seasons of life and they pair hand in hand. But like having you and some of our friends as mentors has been awesome to just be able to still find that power in running and like the faith in fitness and family and friends. And like, that's huge. And this group is my family. And that's why I've came back to Arizona 3 different times.
Right. Yeah. It keeps drawing you back.
Yeah.
It's the community.
Yeah.
It's the people and the people you've impacted with your life too.
Yeah. And I want to say that I think I was telling you this yesterday, right? Every season for me of like every running season, but also every season is different where I have a focus. Like how am I going to get out of bed and run almost 10 miles a day for this season? Because what's going to be my why every day for this season of like 5 months of racing, you know, we go like November through March. It's like our peak season because of the winter here where you can run.
It's nice.
Yeah. So it's like, well, why am I doing this? This time it's like, oh, to help Mandy to break her 3-hour barrier. But also it's like to have more connection with this group and then also to talk to people about things that are pushing me. Like faith in running has been huge for me this season.
Yeah.
So it's like, where can I find that? And this season's going to be different. And the goal isn't a PR. But it's kind of get closer, like, to God this season of running. So
that's so cool. And like, share a little bit about that because, like, faith is important to you and to me. Like, I mean, even in the moments that are hard, it's like I've told you all this even on the ultra when I'm lost in the wilderness. I'm like, all right, God, you're speaking to me now. Like, what are you teaching me in these moments?
Yeah.
And so I feel like through our conversations, like God is speaking to you in a lot of moments. It's really
100%.
cool.
I could go really deep and talk about like visions that I've had, and I won't do that. It doesn't make sense to share that right now. But like the places where I felt, excuse me, like most like myself and most proud of what I'm doing and who I'm with and just full is like seeing a sunrise, at 5:30 or 6 a.m. and like being able to just say, oh, here's the gratitude. I'm so grateful that I'm healthy and happy and safe out here. And like, there are things that I want more in my life. But when I'm running, that shuts off, and it's just like,
oh, that's cool.
I can kind of see God in the sky, and like the cacti, in Los Andes, it's so peaceful.
And the smell of like the sunrise or whatever that is. And when I first moved here, I'm like, what is that smell?
The desert scent. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So cool. Like in those little moments where it's quiet, it's like he's there.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
That's really.
So I feel like I'm really finding that more. Yeah, it's talking to you, talking to like Mandy, Jenna, Mackenzie, like JC, like, you know, really good friends who are hardworking working women for the most part. It's kind of cool just to like, that brings the inspiration to me. And like, none of you or none of them are as fast as I am, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
Because you're all really, really fast and good runners and good people. Mm-hmm. And even if there's a runner who runs like a 10-minute mile, which is not as fast as some people run, like he or she are still helping me out and like giving me guidance.
You learn from everybody. Yeah. That's why I think everyone's on a different spiritual journey, you know, and we're all like trying to figure this world out. And it's just really cool to hear and like celebrate diversity, but also like learn from each other. I feel like I learned so much from you, from Mandy, from our whole group, Liz. It's like you ran with her today. It's like it's really it's a gift, and just to be in a community where you feel safe to be and able to share how like what God's speaking to you in that moment in your life is really huge. It's a gift. So that's like my thing. What I encourage people, even if you're not a runner listening to this, find a community that speaks to you, that allows you to speak to them and accepts you and like allows you to grow together. Because I am learning and I'm growing and I'm trying to figure it out and I don't always get it right.
Well, let me ask you this. This might be emotional for you, but I just want to dig into it, because when you're at your wit's end with all these things going on in your life and you just still have to wake up and run 22 miles this morning, like where do you anchor for that? What gets you there and what gets you through that hard run, that hard workout, that hard race, mile 25? What are you thinking and where do you pull from?
Okay.
I know it's a loaded question.
It is. I have to try to think about it. I'm good at preparing for, I'm not just like, oh, I'm going to run 22 miles. Like, it's nice to have a coach to plan it for you. Mm-hmm. That's huge. I want to please my coach. I want him to be proud of me. I want you all, like the community. Yeah. So like, I do feel that added pressure because people are watching. That's the joy and the hardship of people seeing everything that's going on. You know, they comment on Strava, you know, everyone's, oh, your stoppage time. They see it all. That's just like, it's a lot.
Sure.
But that does get me up to go. That self-motivation and all of that. But also I want to make my family proud. I have like goals. I think it's good for my kids to see mom is getting up early like, it's really good for them. Like, I don't want to feel guilty about that. Like, don't feel guilty about having goals for yourselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I want to better myself and get. So, yeah. Yeah,
so I think what you're saying is accountability. Mm-hmm. You feel accountable toward others, but they also feel that way to you. Like, all your viewers and followers and people who are, you know, you're their coach and they're looking up to you. So, like, it's easier to have a coach who's really crushing it and who's fit. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to get fit to be like him or her, right?
Right.
And so, like, when I was working with Susan, she's like family to me. Yeah. And I wanted to make her proud.
Right, yeah.
For years and years and years.
So,
and same with Derek, who's basically been a coach for me for so long, and he will. So that's the best. So.
It really is. It's having that person in your corner. I say every coach needs a coach. Mm-hmm. Having someone in your corner, supporting you, calling you to be better. Yeah. And like what you do, what we try to do with that, like we want you to the best version of you, and how do you get there? And I need that spoken over me all the time. So. Yeah,
I love that, and I think. Susan's not here. She's in Breckenridge. She's not my coach. I'm coaching myself right now for another couple months, I have.
But you have plans, and you're like, I want that.
Yeah, and like I have Derek and Nate.
Yeah,
and you, and
you
like,
have a support system.
But I will say, all of you have been really good mentors because you're also anchored by like spirituality and faith. Yeah. And I just need that, and I'm not saying everyone does, and not everyone does. But I just do because I'm like, who made this beautiful thing called running with our beautiful friends in this beautiful nature, and just, you know, cacti that are...
It ties together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so cool. It's powerful.
It is cool. I love it.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. So you have goals, like before we wrap everything up with a purple bow, I don't know.
Definitely purple.
A teal bow, I don't know. Blue. Anywho, and we have to remember Fit Aid. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
goals for future. Do you want to share that, or you kind of, because you did share a little bit on Instagram?
Yeah, for sure. So, and not that this is super important to share, but like
Love it.
I took, and I appreciate it. I took like 3 months off running this summer just to kind of reevaluate. Like I do that every few years, like 3 or 4 years. I had a hip thing that's gone, thankfully, and just reevaluating. Like literally didn't post about running in any of my social media for like 6 months.
So it's almost like you had like a detox.
A break.
Yeah,
Detox.
a break. That's a good thing.
Everyone needs that, I think, too. You can't go 24/7, 365, and not expect to get hurt or be burnt out. You got to do that for anything in life. But so like for goals for me, I mean, November. It's November now. I always look at my watch when I'm looking at a month.
Date.
I'm like, what month is it?
Oh, okay.
November 3rd. But November through March is like my racing season. So I have a bunch of stuff lined up, like 10 races, but most of them are going to be just for fun and for those other goals I was telling you about, not for a personal record.
Love it.
Pacing other people, that brings me a lot of joy. It's more fun than like,
so good.
Trying to go for a PR sometimes. So
love it.
Do that, get back to the marathon. And then I think like 2024, I really want to attack that marathon goal.
Oh, there. Really? Laying it out. I got it out.
Yeah.
So.
It's down. Once you speak a goal, you're 40% more likely to hit it.
Ooh, look at all these
Once you write it down.
I hope you're writing notes because this has been really good.
And so I'm actually going to get, how people write in their mirrors?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start doing that, like my favorite quotes.
Okay.
I mean, I have tattoos, but like, I think that.
In your face every morning.
Yeah, every morning. So
I love it.
Wake up, speak that goal. I got to figure out some other stuff on the side, like work and all these other things right now to make sure that I can hit that goal, but that's important to me and I want to get it before I'm 30 or when I'm 30. And so,
hey, let's go.
Yeah.
The golden year 30, is that what do they call 30?
Dirty 30, I don't know.
It's 30.
My golden year was a couple years ago. Yeah.
That awesome marathon.
It's going to be fun. So, and do you want to speak anything about, I mean, people know what you're doing kind of, but do you want to share anything you want to share?
Really?
Come on.
I know. I like tell everybody to share. I know. Tucson marathons on the books. The goal is to get a PR. I'd love one.
It's in a month and a half, right?
Oh, yeah.
6 weeks. I'll be there to support you, cheer you on. I'm so excited.
Want to hop in?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, Hey.
Cool. And after that, remains to be seen, or?
I'm doing a Sanchan 50K.
Right.
Like right after, so it's been super fun with that.
Okay.
And then I might pace Mesa.
The fall?
Yeah.
Cool.
He's like,
see you there.
Well, like a 4-hour.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like,
cool.
No, you're like,
nice.
What?
Amazing.
And then we'll see. I don't know what's happening after that.
Cool.
I like the trail world, so he won't.
You can take it.
He's like, never. I'm like, one day.
No, yeah, we'll see.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Sure.
I loved it. Oh, yes, our Fit Aid. For those of you listening, thank you so much. We would love for you to share it out. And if you do, we're going to put you in a drawing for our free Fit Aids. They're delicious. We have them in recovery form as well as energy and all that. Because we all need energy, right?
Sure do.
Anyhow, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right,
it's been great.
Thanks, friends. See you soon.